What's going on, everyone? Puddin here. I am here to introduce you to my 2022 Polaris Slingshot SLE. Y'all ready for it? Ready? Nah, you ain't ready for it. Neither am I. That is because it is currently on order through Polaris. So what I want to do is tell you the story of why I chose a Polaris, why I decided to order it compared to buying used. So watch the end of the video and see what happens. Now, this decision did not come overnight. It actually took me quite some time. First off, I'm gonna take you back about a year ago. My midlife crisis had started up, so I decided to go ahead and start trying to ride a motorcycle. Now, I went out to the MSF, got my motorcycle endorsement, took the classes, did the test, passed of course, and started looking for my motorcycle. There's plenty of used out there, so I ended up finding one from my great uncle. Now, this was a 2008 Suzuki Intruder in that like crimson red. It was an 800, beautiful bike, but it had been parked, right, for a very long time. So what I ended up doing is I ended up purchasing it from him because it was a beautiful bike. How could I say no? Low mileage. And I restored it, rebuilt the carburetors, put some new shoes on it, polished it up, got it running, accessorized it a little bit, and was having a blast, right? I was driving this thing in the winter, down into the low 20s. It was a beautiful bike to ride, and I had a blast doing it. So about 8 months later, I am coming home after work. It's late in the afternoon, sun is setting, coming up a hill, and there's a vehicle in front of me. As we come around the bend, the sun comes to the windshield and spoofs the driver in front of me, so they hit their brakes. I too had the sun in my eyes and didn't see this, so I did my best to avoid the vehicle in front of me. I straighten the bike out, go back into the lean, and I realize we're going off-road. So I straighten the bike up, I kind of bounce around a little off-road and end up laying the bike down. But my gear did exactly what it was supposed to. It protected me. Helmet protected my head. The jacket I was wearing had the safety pads in it, so no injury to my back or my shoulder. I was wearing the correct boots, so slight sprained ankle I got wasn't a broken ankle. I did go into the emergency room for a back spasm, which would not stop, but they took care of that, and I was able to walk away from that motorcycle accident. So in doing so, I started having to reflect. Isaac, you're in your 40s. Should you be riding this motorcycle with as little skill as you have? And I'm like, yeah, you're kind of right. So I end up having to make the decision to start looking for something else for my midlife crisis. So I started looking at Corvettes. There's some nice Corvettes out there, convertible, beautiful colors. And then the memes of Corvette owners in their jorts and their socks. And it's like, I don't want to be associated with that. And it's a vet. I'm going to be in a cage again. I'm going to be worried about people breaking into it, tearing the top if it's convertible. So I'm like, nah. Then I look at Miatas. I'm like, oh, they're a lower price range, completely customizable for on and off-road, right? Since I took the motorcycle off-road, might as well prepare, right? And it's just, it's a Miata. There's not a whole lot of clout in there. And it's just something that I, no matter how I try, am not gonna fit in. You know, Shaq with his head popping out, that's gonna be me. Me being 6'2", just don't fit in a Miata. It's just not something I'm interested in. Plus then when any convertible, which I kind of want, I'm gonna have to worry about the rust. I'm gonna have to worry about the carpet. I'm gonna have to worry about the seats getting wet. It's just one thing I don't want to have to worry about. You know, it's part of the motorcycle culture is you just jump on your bike and go. If it starts to rain, you pull over, right? This is part of that culture. So I started looking at other things and I found the Polaris Slingshot again. And I say again because back in 2016, 2017, I remember looking at it and I was like, God, I want that. Thing is beautiful. And I started doing my research and then I started listening to everybody's comments. Oh, you're not going to be able to ride it all year long. It's going to be cold. It's going to be, what are you going to do when it rains? Just like all this negative stuff. So I ended up not looking at it anymore. Like they talked me out of it. So I never looked at it again up until now. So I started looking for used slingshots now. And I'm looking, most of them had been already customized. The rest that weren't were either Model S or Model SLs. And they just didn't have that horsepower I wanted. So I started looking at purchasing brand new. And in purchasing brand new, I started looking at all the options. And one that stood out the most is the Type R. It had the horsepower rating, had that 305 tire. If I'm gonna do this midlife crisis, I'm gonna do it well, right? So I went ahead and started looking at ordering a brand new one. Now I looked at all the color options. I saw the SLE, which of course was my favorite, but it didn't have the horsepower rating or that 305 rear tire. I'm like, nope. So the Type R was my only option. So I looked at the Type R, I started building one out, and I really fell in love with that teal but I just can't see myself driving a teal vehicle for the next 5-6 years. I'm like, oh, Isaac, you can customize it, you could wrap it, you could change the color. I'm like, nah, I want to be able to have this, I want to be able to enjoy it before I wrap it and start customizing it, right? So that left me with that storm blue, right? That storm blue with that orange looks beautiful together, right? But I started building one in the Polaris website. Got all the accessories that I wanted. I got it customized exactly the way I wanted. And I went ahead and went to Polaris and dropped my $500 deposit to order it. And I am currently waiting. But thinking about it, like, you know, this thing's gonna grab a whole lot of attention, and I'm gonna have to explain all the time why I am not a Broncos fan. So I didn't want to have that. But too late, I already ordered it. It is what it is. After I got into my account on Polaris, I started looking through things and noticed that because I was trying to purchase a Type R, I never saw the option to purchase the Pro Tune. So once I realized this, I went ahead and went back and started doing another build. I did an SLE build. I love the red and black. Every guy loves red and black, right? Especially those in the midlife crisis. So I started looking and realized I could purchase a SLE with that black, red, and that bronze and get that Pro Tune. So I went ahead and built it and called my Polaris dealer up and said, hey, I kind of want to make a change to my order. So after getting a little bit of flack, they were able to change the order for me, and that was back in early October. So now here we are, mid-November. My Polaris is scheduled to be shipped on 11/11/22. I'm excited to see it when it gets here. I'm hoping you guys stay with me through this whole process. It's going to be a fun little ride, and believe me, I plan on taking this vehicle everywhere. I want to do takeovers. I want to go cross country. I'm going to be out everywhere I can. So subscribe. I hope I get to express what it's like to truly enjoy a Slingshot, or an SS as most of the culture calls it. So stay tuned for more videos. Hope to see you. Ask questions, put some comments down in the bottom. Help me get better at being a YouTuber